So it looks like this time we've been introduced to Chica.
Yes, and look how disturbing she is. Probably the most disturbing out of the lot so far.
I think I'd have to agree on that one, yeah. So, what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
And this is the Ryan here.
And today we once again have another interesting video for you all, and this one is showing what we're going to be speculating to be codenamed Nightmare Chica.
Yes, as we know, the previous image was Bonnie, and Scott actually named that Nightmare Bonnie, so we can safely assume that all of these characters will be called Nightmare and then their name afterwards.
I think you're right, yeah, because even when you look at this image a little bit closer, in the background there appears to be some kind of blurred lines, but if you actually pay a little closer attention to these, it does actually spell out Nightmare once again.
Yeah, and obviously this has a huge impact on what this story is going to be trying to perceive, obviously.
Yeah, I agree, and I think what's more interesting is the fact that we can also see Chica's cupcake, and it's not actually within her hand, and this thing looks like it might actually be controlled almost by itself.
Yeah, I mean, Freddy had his little Freddy minions. Bonnie didn't actually have anything on him.
We speculate, but we only saw a very kind of close shot of the face, didn't we?
Actually, Bonnie has a guitar in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, doesn't he? So maybe that could play a role in it somehow. But yeah, it seems like these characters are going to have some kind of like
controllability in this one, and they're actually going to interact in the environment. Yeah, I mean, if you even look at this small cupcake guy, even he's kind of got, I say he, could be a he or a she, but this thing kind of has the teeth too, doesn't it? And even the mouth gaping.
Yeah,
it's absolutely terrifying.
It's no longer a cute cupcake, it's just nightmare fuel, definitely.
Yeah, it's going absolutely insane with these nightmare animatronics, and I'm sure you guys also understand how crazy this is going to be. I mean, this Chica looks incredibly dangerous, just like the other ones.
Oh my god, yeah, definitely. Scott knows how to give us all nightmares.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, it's very withered as well, and those rows of teeth, I think that's got 3 rows of teeth, and they are razor sharp, and wow, it almost makes me think, out of the 3 of them, this one looks the most dangerous, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of a shark in a way, because sharks have like huge rows of teeth, don't they? And obviously we know shark to represent danger and, you know, death and all this, so maybe that's what it's trying to represent, like danger and death.
Maybe. Well, I think with the nightmare in the background, I think it's definitely representing nightmare, if I'm honest. But the way the mouth is formed in this one, you know what it reminds me most of? You know, the withered animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's 2?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the famous pose of Chica in one of the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 teaser images with her mouth gaping wide open. And even in the parts and service room, we can sometimes see it. I mean, that to me looks absolutely terrifying. And this thing seems to be having a similar build. So
yeah,
it almost seems like maybe these guys have came from a similar era to that.
I was just thinking that in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Chica's jaw was actually broken, so it was constantly open. So maybe this could be the same kind of thing that's just constantly broken with those sharp teeth.
A similar design sort of thing, yeah. Yeah, and I think another interesting thing which you actually raised earlier on was the fact of the glowing eye.
Yes, as we know, in the previous teaser we saw Bonnie, well, Nightmare Bonnie, and in the right eye as we're looking at it, it would be his left eye or her left eye.
Yes.
We'd see the blue light shining.
Kind of like a blue haze, and one of them was a bit blurred out more than the other one. We kind of thought that maybe this is to represent just the one eye being illuminated and something being wrong with the other one in one way or another.
Yeah, but as we know, Freddy didn't have any illuminations within the eyes, so
that's really intriguing me, because it seems like these other 2 suits are definitely operational, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of in a really strange way?
What's that?
Terminator.
Okay, almost like the kind of, this almost kind of just coming back and always being alive sort of thing, just the way the glowy eye, and it's once again, it's fixated on the camera as well, isn't it? It's like looking straight into the camera again.
And in particular, it's just the left eye as we're looking at it now. It's the empty eye. It's got that kind of metal kind of cage around it, and it just reminds me of that kind of Terminator look about it. It's really weird.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from when you say that, and I think a really important thing we're going to have to ask ourselves once again is the text on screen, the whole "was it me" thing.
I mean, the only 2 animatronics so far to have this is Bonnie and Chica. With the first ever teaser we got of these horrible nightmare-fueled animatronics was Freddy, and yet he didn't have a "was it me" next to it. He just had the name of the game that it was going to be. So could this possibly rule Freddy out of whatever's in question right now?
Well, I think an important thing is we have to think back to the eyes again. Freddy's eyes are not illuminated, so maybe he's not operational at this point. Maybe these other 2 guys have just come back to life almost. Maybe Freddy's not quite there. I mean, we could even expect to see maybe a 5th teaser where we see this Freddy character again in a much more evil pose, maybe with his eyes illuminated. I think that would be pretty awesome if we did.
Yeah, it could like link back to Five Nights at Freddy's 3 with the good ending where you had to go through all these minigames to give life to Golden Freddy.
Again, going back to that whole thing, even if the souls were freed, what about if they came back again? Maybe, what about if they could never truly be freed? So even if there was a good ending that did exist, maybe these suits contain these kids once again.
Yeah, and I mean, what we need to ask ourselves now is we certainly know that we're going to expect to see 5 Foxy next, and God knows what he's going to look like.
You know what? You know something that's really interesting for me?
What's that?
We think back to the purple guy, also the pink guy, and there was 5 children murdered each time, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Loads of people are saying maybe there was these 10 children, so where did these other children go? Do you think maybe this could be where they went?
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, we're now kind of starting to think that these guys, they've come maybe before the withered animatronics during that sort of time era, and I mean, these minigames of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, they may have taken place at the same sort of time intervals, so, you know, what about if these extra children were stuffed in these suits?
As we know, the toy animatronics weren't stuffed, but they had a criminal database, and that's why they turned on you, because their facial recognition system was tampered with, leading them to attack you, which is kind of weird in a in a children's environment.
It does make you think, like, why would this happen? And it's just so interesting why they even have a criminal database if it's just the staff members kind of operating on being amongst them, isn't it? It's very strange. And, you know, I think the last question we have to ask, which is the most obvious one, is, well, who are we going to see next?
I certainly hope it will be Foxy, because if this is
I
carrying
think
on the way,
it has to be.
Because obviously we've seen the Five Nights at Freddy's 1, like, originals, so it's got to be Foxy. Because if it all of a sudden was like Mangle, it'll be like, well, hang on a second, what's going on here?
Something I think would be really interesting is if the actual balloon boy with the whole 10 image tied back in was still a bit kind of skeptical, and we don't truly know what this 10 means. What about if it means there's going to be 10 animatronics?
Oh, that would be awesome. I mean, it would be a really nice way to end the franchise, definitely.
Wouldn't it just? Yeah, I think that would be an amazing way. But, you know, we have a lot of teasers on their way, I'd imagine. These things are coming quite quickly, and each image is posing sort of new ideas. So, you know, there's so much time to see all these guys once again from all of the different generations, and I suppose time will tell.
Oh yeah, and it's going to be amazing.
So there we have it, guys. There's once again another interesting video for you all. Hopefully you did enjoy, and be sure to comment down below any of your thoughts on what this image might possess.
Yes, and if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to like it, and if you're new around here, why not subscribe for more awesome theories like this and some gameplay?
Absolutely. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and we'll of course see you on the next one.
Goodbye, guys.
Want to see even more content from us?
Consider liking and subscribing to ensure you'll see all content in the foreseeable future.
And hey, why not check out our past 2 videos?